Okay, cool. We are live. All right. Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for joining the Live at 5. This is, we do this every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And what I do is I come on here and I give you more information on how to heal your MS symptoms. I was paralyzed with MS symptoms 12 years ago. And I figured out through diet and books and trial and error how to heal myself. And then I came across the medical medium and he gave me more information. I've put it all together in a protocol for you. And every Wednesday at 5 o'clock, I come on here and I give you the information that you need to start healing right away. I'm never going to be the kind of person who withholds the information and says, no, you got to pay me first and then I'll give it to you. No, here's all the information. You can start healing yourself right away. Or if you want coaching, I offer that too, but it's not necessary. It's for those people who want the motivation, want the accountability, but it's absolutely not necessary. The reason why I created this group is because when I was laying paralyzed in the bed, I begged and pleaded with God to please show me a way. Give me somebody who can give me the answers, who can tell me how to get out of the misery. And I couldn't find anybody. I never did find anybody. I found books with bits and pieces of the puzzle. I put it all together, but I never found somebody. So when I was able to, I became that person. And that's why I give you all of the information that you need to heal yourselves, because it absolutely is possible. So every Wednesday, we go over another topic and get you closer and closer to healing. And then we have the large support group inside Minding Your Soul that you can access me, you can access other people who have either healed or are healing their symptoms. So today we're going to be talking about the gluten-free portion of the protocol, because that was the first thing that I did and turned out to be one of the most important things that I did to heal myself, and that was to go gluten-free. And I get it. I was there. When I was reading about the benefits of going gluten-free, I did not understand how I could ever do that. I'm Italian, I'm Sicilian, and going gluten-free was almost impossible. Like, how am I going to feed my kids? Like when they're sick, I got to give them pastina or chicken noodle soup. What do you mean I can't eat gluten? Plus, I didn't even know what gluten was. And it's in everything. It's in absolutely everything. So there was a huge learning curve. So the purpose of me doing this is to let you know that it's not that hard these days, especially these days. Back in the day when I was going gluten-free, that meant eating chicken and fish and vegetables and fruits, and there was no processed gluten-free foods. So it's good and it's bad because you have a lot more options, but gluten-free doesn't always mean healthier. But what it does mean in the MS world is that you're not feeding the virus. Gluten is one of those things that feeds the virus. Gluten, dairy, eggs, heavy metals, they all feed the virus. And the whole protocol is about starving the virus, killing it with your immune system, and detoxing it out of your body. That's what we do here. So today we're going to go over the guide that I created to make life a little bit easier for you. So it's called 5 Steps to Going Gluten-Free with Ease. And you can find that guide if you want to follow along. This is what it looks like. Well, this is black and white. It's color. Oh, it's too bright. Oh, there you can see it. 5 Steps to Going Gluten-Free. And it's in the files section of the group. So if you scroll all the way to the top of the group, and you'll see that menu bar across the top, members, events, one of those is going to be files. Click on that and either use the search bar or scroll, and you'll see this PDF, 5 Steps to Going Gluten-Free. And download it. It's a PDF, and it gives you step by step what to look for, what to avoid. Just going to make sure that we are live in the group here. Yeah, we are. Okay, I can see you guys. Oh, hi, Corey. How are you? It's good to see you. And thank you for jumping on here and saying hi. Oh, voice. I got to get it down. Oh, okay. I had to put it on my phone because StreamYard doesn't show me who's commenting. I can see your comments. I can see the hellos, but I can't see your names. So I use my phone right here so I can see who's commenting. Okay. Oh, we have Ginger. Hi, Ginger. How are you? It's good to see you today. And May, Holly. Awesome. Good. We're all here. All right. So that means I'm live. We're doing good. All right. So if you want to follow along with your guide, if not, I'm going to read it to you. You can download it later, or you could just take notes. So the first thing in understanding how to go gluten-free is that you are not going to live deprived. you can't live deprived. If you are going to start something, a new lifestyle, you can't go into it thinking, okay, what can't I eat? No one can live like that. Life is hard. And sometimes our only comfort is our food. So now I'm going to tell you, no, you can't have gluten. No, absolutely not. Well, you can't have the gluten, but you could still have the foods that bring you comfort. I tell you, every Friday night we have pizza here. We have pizza every Friday night, and it's delicious. And my caveman husband, who never went gluten-free before in his life before meeting me, now likes gluten-free pizza better than regular pizza. I think he's crazy because I remember regular gluten-full pizza tasting delicious. I like the gluten-free pizza right now. I don't know if it's better. I'd love some comments on that. Gluten-free and dairy-free. So there's a lot of pizzas out there. You got to try them. Gluten-free pizzas. In the frozen section, I always keep a gluten-free frozen pizza, the Dia brand, or the Udis. There's a lot of different things that you can do to make it taste good. You can add your own toppings. You can add your own cheese. Keep them in the freezer. Friday night, you don't feel like cooking, pop them in the oven, 10 minutes, they're done. That's my comfort food, pizza. But there's also pasta. There's a lot of great pastas out there. We still eat pasta. You got to take a couple minutes to find the good gluten-free pasta. But what I have found is Barilla makes a great gluten-free pasta. What I would stay away from is what I stay away from. You might like it. My mother loves the brown rice pasta. I don't. I find it to be mushy. Now, there are ways that you can cook it so it's not mushy, and I've tried them, and I still find them mushy and bland and disgusting. So I do like the corn-based. Now, I used to have to avoid corn products because they would cause so much inflammation and cause gas and bloating, and I just knew that wasn't good for my body. Over the years, like I've said, it's been 10, 12 years now, I've been able to tolerate corn. I don't eat it all the time, but I can eat it now. So when we're looking for foods to eat, whether we're talking gluten-free or just regular foods in general, you want to make sure that you're not feeding the virus. Okay. So there is a red, yellow, green way of eating. I've kind of simplified it. Red, it feeds the virus. You got to stay away from those entirely. Yellow, it's processed food, it's corn, it's the inflammatory foods. You don't want to eat them all that often, but you're going to sprinkle them in your diet because honestly, we live here and on Earth, and sometimes we need some of those processed foods. And as long as they're gluten-free, that's fine. Gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free. And then you have the red ones. The red ones you want to stay away from completely because they feed the virus. All right. So we're going to go over this guide step by step, and you're going to see by the end of this session, it's really not that hard, and it's not something that you are going to do overnight. First and foremost, you're not going to do this overnight. It's going to be an evolution. You are going to start looking at the things that you're eating, looking at the ingredient statements and going, holy shit, I didn't even know there was wheat in this. Let me try next time I'm at the grocery store to find a replacement for this one thing. And every time you go to the grocery store, you're going to be looking for another substitution of yours that you found the week prior that had gluten in it. That's it. If you try to do this overnight and say, that's it, tonight I go to bed, tomorrow I wake up and I'm going to be gluten-free, completely gluten-free. It doesn't work that way. Also, I want to say I have accidentally glutenized myself many, many times, and it sucks because you'll be learning more about this in the workshop next week. But the Epstein-Barr virus, the virus that we're trying to kill, has a 6-week lifespan. After those 6 weeks, it's dead, yes, but the dead corpse of the virus is still a neurotoxin, and it's still going to cause you neurological symptoms. So it's going to take you longer than 6 weeks to get it out of your body. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you this, less than a size of a crouton is enough to feed the virus. The virus is always proliferating. You just fed it. It's now replicating. And now you're back to square one. And you have to start all over again before you start feeling better. Now, it's different for everybody, of course. But for me, that's the way it was. For the clients that I got an itchy nose. The clients that I work with, the gluten sets them back. Now, I've accidentally eaten dairy and I've accidentally eaten eggs. They don't set me back the way gluten does. Now, I know everyone is different. So when we start the protocol, when we start the program, you want to be as gluten-free as possible, as dairy-free, as egg-free as possible. Okay. And then if you accidentally glutenized yourself, I think what you'll find is that that is going to set you back and that's going to give you symptoms, but not so much like the dairy and the eggs. However, for some people, yes. So although this protocol is the same for every person is going to tweak it differently to suit them. They're going to be going at different paces. I needed to take a lot of breaks so that my body can come back up to energy. You always go by your energy. So when you are on this protocol and say the celery juice, the heavy metal detox smoothie is too much, it's tapping out your energy because it takes a lot of energy to detox the body, right? And if you're already tapped out, you're just starting on your healing journey, then that little loss of energy is enough to send you back to bed. So that's why I want to let you know that although the protocol is the same for everybody, you are going to watch your energy level and you are going to back off and stop. And then you're going to start again when your energy comes back up to normal. I did a whole video on this. I can't remember the title of it. I usually can remember the title of it. What did I say? Oh, take breaks, slow down to go faster. That's what I called it. It's on YouTube. Minding Your Soul has a YouTube channel. Slow down to go faster. That was the name of it. And watch that video if you're wondering, what the hell does she mean, slow down and I'll go faster? If you slow down and listen to your body, you will absolutely heal faster. It's the people who say, like I did in the beginning, I get it. It's like all or nothing. I'm doing all of it. I'm going to push through. The people who push through, they're the ones who are set back even further because eventually the body can't handle it. So you have to make sure that you're treating your body with grace and that you're going slow. Okay, I've branched off. We're now going back to the gluten-free guide. All right, so the first step in going gluten-free is you have to know what gluten is. Gluten is just the name of the protein that's in certain grains. And those grains, I have them on page 1, wheat, barley, rye, and triticale. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. I've never seen it before. But if you have, don't eat it. It has gluten in it. So there are other grains that also have protein in them. All grains have protein in them. They have the bran, the endosperm, and the protein. The name of the protein is gluten in certain grains, and the name of the protein is different in other grains. Okay, it's not going to feed the virus the way gluten does. So wheat, barley, rye, stay away from that. Now, a question I got recently was the heavy metal detox smoothie has the barley grass juice powder in it. And they're like, oh, barley, we're supposed to stay away from that. So I want you to know the barley grass juice powder, they juice the grass of the barley plants. It's not actually the grain that they're taking. They're taking the grasses from the plant and they're juicing that. And that's what we're putting inside of our body. Hold on. Angela, reading your comment, egg is the issue. He's stuck on them. Oh, yeah. It would be very hard if I had to tell, if my husband had to do this protocol, if he had an issue. He has no issues. He's so freaking healthy. Yeah, my husband would have a hard time giving up eggs. He lives on them. He knows. I tell him they feed viruses, but he doesn't have a reason to give them up, he says, so he's not giving them up. Rhonda, hello. How are you? I see that you're on here. Hi, Janine. This is where I'm having problems fathoming. Yeah, Angela. So going gluten-free. So this is for you. Angela and Corey, I talked to Corey yesterday. So we are talking about how to go gluten-free, and I keep branching off. Sorry. All right. So the first thing is understanding what gluten is. It's the name of the protein inside a few of the grains that are out there, which is wheat, barley, rye, and triticale, whatever the hell that is. All right. So what are some grains that you can eat? Rice, absolutely. Rice is completely gluten-free. White rice, brown rice. White rice is really processed. You probably don't want to eat a lot of white rice. It offers you nothing. It offers you absolutely nothing. Brown rice is so much better. It's when they say whole grain brown rice, a lot of people get a little nervous with that whole grain because they think gluten. No, it's the grain. It's the rice grain. And rice does not have gluten in the grain. So you're safe. You can eat as much rice as you want. I just wouldn't eat too much because it's very binding. Back you up. Quinoa. Quinoa is the only plant-based complete protein. The only one. So if you want a protein-packed grain, if you want a protein-packed anything, quinoa is great. You can make a huge pot of it on Sunday and eat it cold all week, eat it hot all week, eat it both, side dish, main dish, add things to it, make it different every day. Quinoa is a really great thing to keep around, and I feel like it lasts forever. And it doesn't really have a flavor. It takes on the flavor that you give it. So I always cook it instead of water. I cook it in vegetable broth, whether it's broth from a box or broth that I made, which I haven't made broth in so long, not with a 7-week-old. I think it's going to be a while. All right, so teft, corn, buckwheat. Yeah, scary word, buckwheat. But guess what? It's buckwheat. It's not wheat. It's actually gluten-free. So buckwheat is fine. I get the buckwheat pancake mix because it's really good. Completely gluten-free. But I know it's a scary word. And sorghum. That's not seen too much, but sorghum is also gluten-free. So first page of the guide is going to tell you the grains to stay away from and the grains that are completely safe to eat. All right, step 2 is knowing where gluten hides. You really have to know this because here, I wrote down some notes. Oh, is Marissa on here? I haven't seen you come on here yet. Marissa, if you're on here, I'm going to talk about your mixed nuts right now. She posted in the group about her mixed nuts, and I think she's like, bastards, or was that Quinn? I'm not sure. No, it was, I forget who said bastards, but Marissa was the one who ate the mixed nuts, and they had gluten in them, and she didn't even think to look. Why would you? Nuts? Where would they put the wheat? But they do. They do. The flavoring, they always use like maltodextrin. Maltodextrin is gluten-free if it's made in the US. It's not gluten-free if it's made outside the US. But guess what? When you're reading an ingredient statement, all it says is maltodextrin. It does not say where it's made from. So that's another one that you have to avoid. And my God, that's in a lot of things. All right, so here are a couple not grains, but different names that wheat goes by. And so I tell you to look at an ingredient list, right? And you see the word wheat. You're like, okay, I know to stay away from it. But what if it says semolina? You're like, oh, well, it doesn't say wheat anywhere on here. It says semolina. Semolina is a type of wheat. So there are a few things that you do have to know. Again, step 2, it's right here. So semolina, spelt, farina, graham. I think we're all familiar with graham crackers. Of course, they have wheat. Emmer, farro, udon, and einkorn. Those are all the ones that have gluten in them. They're just different names for those other grains that we talked about. So those are the ones to stay away from. Semolina, it's another name for the wheat grain. Spelt, farina, graham, emmer, farro, udon, and einkorn. So when you're looking at that label, we all have our phones with us these days, right? It's very easy to, when you're in the grocery store, read the ingredient statement. If there's too many ingredients and you're like, oh, I don't have the time, you really shouldn't be buying that food. Think about it, especially while you're healing. You want to eat as clean as possible, but you want your food. You don't want so many ingredients for your body to digest and poop out the crap. You want that ingredient statement small, and you want to be able to read the words. But every now and then, I gotta lower my heat. My God, it's so hot in here. Every now and then, you're going to come a word where you're like, what is that? I don't know what that is. Google's great these days. Just say, say you came across udon noodles. Are udon noodles gluten-free? Right away, it's going to pop up yes or no. Very easy to use your phone. So there's a couple of things that you do have to know. But if you come across something in the grocery store that you don't know, just Google it really quick. And honestly, when we go grocery shopping, do you ever buy different things every single week? I know I don't. I go up and down the same aisles. I grab the same things. I've got my staples. And every now and then I'll pick out something new. Right? But not very often am I picking out new foods. So trust me, it's going to be very, I hate to say it's going to be very hard in the beginning, but it is. It's going to be hard. Any change is hard. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but once you get your staples down, you get the same things every week. So if you can get through the transition of just transitioning over some of the foods, because trust me, not everything in you, I've said trust me a lot already, not everything in your pantry and your refrigerator needs to be replaced. A lot of it is going to be naturally gluten-free. It's just going to be those few things, like crackers, right? You just got to find a good cracker. And trust me, they're out there now. They weren't back in the day, but they are now. So now we're going to get on to, we're continuing places where gluten hides. I have this all listed out. So oats. Oats are naturally gluten-free. They don't have gluten in them. However, the machinery used to process oats to turn them into something that manufacturers use uses the same machinery that wheat uses. So any processor who is processing wheat is going to process oats too, because you can make more money using the same machine for two different products. So they're talking about the cross contamination. I didn't know this in the beginning. All I knew is that oats did not have gluten in them. So I was eating Quaker oatmeal for the longest time. The rolled oats, the kind that you boil, don't eat the instant stuff. It's pure sugar. It's crap. It tastes really good, but it's pure sugar. Not that sugar feeds the virus, because it doesn't. You don't want that much sugar. If you're going to eat oats, eat real oats, boil them. It takes literally 2 minutes. Anyway, so because oats share the same machinery, there's cross contamination. We don't know how sensitive we are. So although I didn't start with gluten-free oats back when I started this, I don't even know if they had them. I was eating Quaker. I was fine. I wasn't glutenizing myself. However, if you have the option to get the gluten-free oats, I would recommend that, just because we don't know how sensitive we are. We don't know what the cross-contamination is. I used to work in a manufacturing facility, in the front office, but we would always take tours, and they do clean the machinery very well. There's such a small chance of cross-contamination. But again, when you're healing your symptoms, depending on how gung-ho you want to be, you might want to just invest in the extra couple pennies for the gluten-free oats. Okay, another thing that I didn't realize in the beginning was soy sauce. Soy sauce is actually fermented wheat. Most people probably know that, but I didn't know that in the beginning, and I glutenized myself with soy sauce. It's actually fermented wheat. They make gluten-free soy sauce these days. Very easy to find. Just make sure you know that soy sauce is one of those condiments. You have to check all of your condiments. Excuse me. I'm so thirsty today. So the reason why I say check all your condiments, like, right, I get my ex-husband, I went grocery shopping, and I went in the refrigerator, and I put mustard on whatever I was making or eating, and I turned it over. I just happened to turn it over because it was a new brand, and thank God that I did, because I saw wheat. And I go, honey, are you trying to kill me? What are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's wheat in here. And he goes, what, in mustard? I'm like, I know, it's crazy, but there's wheat in here. Always check your condiments. I mean, even the foods that you think, where could they put the wheat in? Why would they put wheat in here? And there's no way there could be wheat in here. Always check. Always check. Quinn just posted something about, I think there were sushi rolls. He's like, what in the hell? Why is there wheat in here? You always have to check whatever goes in your mouth. Another quick story before we move on. Another quick story. I just told this on the coaching call. Sorry if you're hearing it again. So my family, we were all at a funeral. I was on one end of the pew, and my sister was on the other end of the pew. And it was time for the communion. But because it was a small funeral, the priest just went up to each person in like the first two pews and gave them. So I couldn't say to my sister, don't eat that, because I knew it had wheat in it. So later on, after the funeral, I go up to her and I go, did you eat the Eucharist? I think I saw you eat the Eucharist. She goes, of course I eat it, Janine. What else would I do with it? I'm like, I have mine in my pocket. I don't want to be rude and not take it, but I stuck it in my pocket. I had the body of Christ in my pocket. I know, I felt awful about it, but I knew that there was wheat in there. She's like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, Christina, you have to be responsible for every single thing you put in your mouth. To this day, even though I'm 100% healed and I help people get healed, this is what I do for a living. I still, if I eat something, even though I know it's gluten-free, if my mouth tastes a new taste, a new flavor, all of a sudden I'm triggered and my brain goes, oh my God, what is this? Is there gluten in here? And the other side of my brain is like, no, there's no gluten. You already checked. Well, what if you misread? What if you forgot? What if something, you have to check it again. How many times I've gotten up from the dinner table, walked over to the garbage where the packaging was and picked it up and had to see the words gluten-free. There were times in the beginning where I had to prop up the box that said gluten-free while I was eating it, because that was the level of anxiety that it would create for me, tasting the new flavor. So everything that you eat, you have to check it, because like I said, the reason why this is so important is because it's not like everything else in our lives where a little bit is okay. A little bit of gluten is not okay. It will set you back 6 weeks. And then you have to wait that time, 6 weeks and longer, for it to detox out of your body. You have to wait that long to start feeling good again. So do everything you can to check everything before you put it in your mouth. Even drinks. You'd be surprised. Some of those Dunkin' Donut drinks with the flavoring in it, yeah, they have wheat in them. I forget which ones, because can't tell you the last time I was at Dunkin' Donuts. We have a great little coffee shop on the corner. That's the one I go to. Okay, Pickles, they are naturally gluten-free, but you've got to check the ingredient statement because the stuff that they flavor the pickle juice with sometimes will have wheat in it. Bouillon cubes. I know this is old school. I don't know if anyone uses them anymore, but I had a box of them in my refrigerator for the longest time. They also have wheat in them. When you buy frozen vegetables in the grocery store, they're delicious when they have the creams on them, right? Absolutely delicious. But you have to read the ingredients because you're thinking they're vegetables. Where's the wheat going to be? They're going to be in the flavorings. They're going to be in the cream sauce. If you're buying just like frozen peas, frozen string beans, or Brussels sprouts, one ingredient, fine, great, you're safe. But anything that is flavored, always check. I'm sorry, I'm not checking the oh, Quinn, you are on here. Isn't that funny? I just mentioned your the takes like an hour wild rice. Oh, I think you're answering somebody else. Angela, you're good. Rhonda, you're good. Thanks. Amanda says imitation crab meat has gluten. Is 90% why sushi is not gluten-free. Thank you. I did not know that. I always get the California rolls. It's like fake sushi. It's like a sushi wannabe. I always get the California rolls. So Amanda said imitation crab meat is gluten. It has the imitation crab, which has gluten in it. So even if you're at a restaurant, if you're ordering sushi, you're thinking you're safe, right? No, you always have to talk to someone. Always ask for the gluten-free soy sauce, or do what I do. Carry the gluten-free soy sauce packets in your purse, in your back pocket. Bring it to the restaurant with you. Yeah, I'm that person who brings my soy sauce to the restaurant. Quinn says coconut aminos. I tried Bob's Red Mill soy sauce. Made with soy. Fucking yuck. Yeah, I know, right? Some of those are really freaking disgusting. If you go to an Asian market, they have the greatest things. Try an Asian market if you have one near you. They have really good gluten-free soy sauce. Kiko Man, I think is the brand. Okay, here's a tip that I have in here. Wheat-free. You'll see sometimes the label says wheat-free. Okay, that doesn't mean gluten-free. I have learned that the hard way. Wheat-free does not mean gluten-free. It just means that it doesn't have wheat in it. So you still have to read the ingredient statements. Now, French fries. Here's the thing. Potatoes, we know, gluten-free, right? They're great. Thank God potatoes are gluten-free. So you would think that French fries would be gluten-free. No, many times, especially out in restaurants, even the frozen bag of French fries that we buy at the store, they're coated. They're coated in something that makes them crispy, and they're coated in flour, and it's usually wheat flour. So even if you're at a restaurant, don't order the French fries unless you know for sure that they are not coated in anything, and the fryer oil that they use, they don't dunk anything else in there, like the chicken parmesan that has the flour in it, or anything else that they're frying that has the gluten in it. Again, I don't know how sensitive we are. I don't know how sensitive you are. I don't even know how sensitive I am because I don't want to take the chance. So I might be completely fine using the same fryer oil, but I don't know, and I don't want to take that chance because I've seen what happens when I accidentally glutenize myself. It's getting better over the years. That's a whole nother conversation. I used to joke around and say a limb would fall off because that's what it would feel like. I wouldn't have my right leg or my right arm or something would fall off. Now I get a skin rash. Now I don't know if I ate a lot of gluten, if I would still have a limb fall off or if I would still just get the skin rash. I don't know. I don't know if we're ever completely healed. I don't know. But what I think is, I don't think we can ever get rid of the virus 100% because it's in our bodies, it's in our organs. But I do think that we can get our viral load so low, like I have done, where you don't have any symptoms. I'm telling you, not even my toes on my right foot aren't even numb anymore. And I never thought that would go away, ever. But 0 symptoms. And here I am 3 months after having a baby. And that's usually the scariest part for MS patients because 3 months after you have a baby, all of your resources are completely depleted. And that's usually when you get an exacerbation. So I'm 2 months, no exacerbation. I will keep you posted. And what was I going to say? Oh, the workshop. Well, that's still not going to be 3 months. The end of May will be 3 months. So I'll be letting you know. But what I found interesting, what I did get when I was paralyzed, when I had all the symptoms, when I was either in bed or not paralyzed or using the wheelchair or walking around with a cane, no matter how or bad or good my symptoms were at any given time, I always had eczema. Until I started healing, I always had eczema. I looked like Jesus Christ on the cross with the nail holes through his palms. My hands were covered in eczema. It was disgusting. it wasn't until I started healing and cleaning everything out of my body that that all went away. And now there's nothing. However, a week after I came home from the hospital with Jackson, I had this little tiny patch of eczema right here. I took a picture of it. It was the little tiny bubbles, right, that you want to pop but don't because it spreads. But I had it, so I'm wondering, like. That's why I think the virus is still in me. Didn't last long. I didn't have any other symptoms. I just had that little piece of eczema, which I thought was very interesting. So, all right, so French fries, so we know that. So if you're going to even buy frozen French fries in the grocery store, read the label. Aaliyah's sweet potato fries, oh, amazing. They use rice flour. It's completely gluten-free. A shit ton of ingredient statements, though. I wouldn't order them. I wouldn't make them very often, but they're delicious. They really are so good. All right, here's another tip for you. Eggs, we don't eat eggs. We definitely don't eat eggs. Eggs feed the virus. Think about if you're in this country, I don't know. I was talking to a woman in India today, and she said it was the same thing there, but I don't think it's the same thing in Africa. Malak. I would have to ask Malak. So we don't eat eggs because they feed the virus. And think about it. When your kids were little and they were getting vaccinated, if they had an egg allergy, you would always have to tell the doctor so that they would get a different kind of vaccine or a different brand of vaccine. Why? It's because they put eggs in the vaccine vials to keep the little bit of virus that's in there alive. Eggs keep viruses alive. That's a known fact in the medical industry. So when we are trying to kill the Epstein-Barr virus inside of us, that's why we don't eat eggs. Another reason why we don't eat eggs, and I didn't know about the egg thing before I ran into the medical medium. So up until 2015, I would say I healed myself about 60% of the way. It wasn't until the medical medium books in 2015 that he spoke like me, said everything that I was thinking, and then gave me exactly what I was killing, the Epstein-Barr virus. And that's when he said, don't eat eggs. Up until then, I was eating eggs, but you have to be careful when you're at restaurants because guess what? They put pancake batter in with the scrambled eggs to make them fluffier. So restaurants still scare the hell out of me. There's only a few restaurants that I feel safe eating at today. And they're usually I should say all of them, all three of them are mom and pop places where I've talked to the chef, I've talked to the owners. They know who I am. They know what I can eat and what I can't eat. So unfortunately, I don't trust the gluten-free menus unless I can see the actual ingredients, like if it's a string beans or a baked potato. But if it's something where I can't see all the ingredients, I don't even trust the gluten-free at the restaurant. It's up to you. Like I said, we're all different. All right, so comments are coming in. Amanda says, I can't have soy either, and there is a soy-free soy sauce that is gluten-free as well. Yeah, today there are so many options. It's so awesome. All right, so gravies, sauces, marinades, they all are thickened with flour, wheat flour. So when you're in a restaurant, you're like, oh, I ordered a steak and I just put the gravy on top, completely gluten-free. No, that gravy most likely is thickened with wheat, unless they use cornstarch, but you don't know that unless you ask, right? So one time I asked the chef, he's like, absolutely, we only use cornstarch, totally safe. I said, let me ask you something. Was there ever a time where you ran out of the flour and you ran out of cornstarch and you used wheat flour? He's like, yeah, that happens sometimes. I'm like, do you put that on the menu and do you tell people? He's like, I get it. So I don't even trust the restaurants in that regard. So if I'm going to order a steak, I'll order a steak, right? There's nothing on there. They salt the steak. That's it. They grill it, but I won't put anything on it. No sauces, marinades, nothing like that. So this may seem overwhelming at first, but think about what you eat in a week. It's not all of these things. So you're going to go through your refrigerator, your pantry, and each week you're going to pick something that you're going to switch over to be gluten-free. Give yourself a month. Give yourself 2 months. This isn't a race. Yes, I know you want to heal right away, but this isn't a race. The slower you go, the more efficient you go, the less overwhelming it is. And that's why my program is 4 months long, because all of these changes that you need to make, you can't do them overnight. So, this week we're doing this, next month we're doing this, and we build upon our progress so that at the end of the 4 months, we go back and we look at like where you started and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe all these changes I made. Like, yeah, but how is your morning going now? They're like, oh, it's totally easy. I do the lemon juice. I do the lemon water, the celery juice, the heavy metal smoothie. It's no big deal. But if I told you tomorrow morning you needed to do this, and that all before you left for work, you'd be like, there's no freaking way. I have no time. We build upon our progress very slowly. Now, this is step 3. Identify your comfort foods. I know I talked about that first because that is so important. We're busy. We have houses, we have children, we have responsibilities, we have shit we have to do every day that needs to get done. We need our comfort foods. And when we are faced with a decision of, I have nothing to eat except this granola bar, and you know it has wheat in it, what am I supposed to do? Starve, right? Or eat the damn granola bar? You're going to eat the granola bar. You never want to put yourself in a situation where you don't have any choices. So make sure you always have gluten-free comfort foods. Find a good gluten-free granola bar, shove them in your glove box, shove them everywhere so that when you don't have time and you need something right away, you have something to grab. I like the isogenics bars. Isogenics bars, you can, if you know someone who sells it, or you can get them on Amazon. They're delicious and they're really good for you, right? They're a full meal and they're chocolate. I need to have a little chocolate every now and then. So the comfort foods are going to be up to you. They're different for everybody. Mine's pizza, pasta, alcohol. Alcohol is a big question. Alcohol, most of it is gluten-free. Most of it is gluten-free. Wine is absolutely gluten-free. Now, people are always asking, like, well, can I have wine? And I go, well, that's up to you. Wine does not feed the virus. It doesn't feed the virus. However, it inflames the shit out of your body. So in the beginning, I couldn't drink wine because I'd feel like crap the next day. Whether or not I got a buzz from it the night before or not, it didn't matter. I felt like crap the next day because it gunked up my liver enough to cause it to slow down enough to make me feel like crap the next day. So when we talk about on day 2, when we talk about how to get more energy, day 2 of the workshop, how to get more energy, we're going to be talking about the lemon water. We're going to be talking about your liver. We're going to be talking about how the liver wakes up before you do and what happens when you drink alcohol. So some people can tolerate the alcohol, some people can't. It's up to you. But do know it doesn't feed the virus as long as there's no gluten in it. I'm sure there are some mixes that I'm not familiar with that have gluten in them, though I can't think of any right now, but always check. The Celiac Foundation is great for posting information online. All you have to do is Google it. Is such and such gluten-free? And you'll find out. I stick with red wine. I do. I love it. And it's gluten-free and I don't have a lot of it, but when I do, it's absolutely delicious. It's like grape juice. All right. This is where this guide comes in really handy. The step 4, write down your daily eating plan. For me, being a visual learner, I need to see things written out. So that's why I would, again, don't do this all at once. Let's tackle breakfast. Write down what you have for breakfast and then brainstorm some ideas. What could I change in my breakfast, or what do I need to change to make it gluten-free? Let's say you're not interested in all the protocol shit. You just want to go gluten-free and you don't want to give up your waffles in the morning. Don't give up your waffles. Vans, the brand Vans, makes the best gluten-free waffles. Blueberry, plain, apple cinnamon, whatever you want. They're perfectly gluten-free. I've been having them in my freezer for years, maybe even a decade. They're delicious. There's always a way. Brainstorm. What are your non-negotiables? What are you not willing to give up? Okay, well then go find a gluten-free, dairy-free version of that. All right, so in this guide, I go over what I have for breakfast, right? And I also give you some ideas of what you could have for breakfast. Now, when we talk about breakfast, we have to talk about coffee, because coffee, that's why. Oh, Quinn says, I'm petty. I'll fast before I eat the granola bar. You get to a point where you understand what it feels like to feel good, and you understand what it feels like to have symptoms. There are people here who don't understand what it feels like to feel good because they've only had symptoms and they've never gotten a chance to feel good. Once you're over that hump and you feel what it feels like to have energy, to get that gluten out of your system, and your immune system gets a break and you finally get some energy, you're right, Quinn, you will absolutely fast before you eat that granola bar. These days, if I have to starve, I will starve before I put wheat inside my body. I mean, I don't have to starve because I have isogenic bars everywhere, so I can easily grab them. And I know where to go to get gluten-free food. If I had to hit a Chick-fil-A drive-through and get their French fries, guess what? If you ask for the ingredients in their allergen list, all they have to do is hit a button on their register and it prints out for them. And you can see clearly what the ingredients are and what the allergens are. And their French fries are completely gluten-free and delicious. And they have a drive-through. Oh, speaking of fast food and French fries, I didn't mention it before. Five Guys. If you have a Five Guys and fries near you, they only use peanut oil and they only use it for the French fries, and they cut the potatoes into French fries right there on location. So that's another place where you can go. That used to be our treat. Me and the kids would go to Five Guys and fries, and we would get food. You could even get the burger wrapped in a lettuce leaf. It's absolutely delicious. So you can get the burger with the lettuce, you can eat the French fries, and then we would go next door and we would pet the puppies. And then we found out that they come from a puppy mill and the place closed down. So there's that. But the kids are grown now anyway. They wouldn't go out with me anyway these days. That's why I had another kid. Oh, coffee. All right, get back on track, Janine. All right, so we have to talk about coffee when we're talking about breakfast. Coffee is great. Coffee is absolutely wonderful. What we do to the coffee is absolutely horrendous. I still drink coffee. I gave it up while I was pregnant. Most of the time while I was pregnant. And then I went to 1 cup, and I'm still on that 1 cup. There is a way to drink coffee so it's not that bad for you. Coffee is always going to be acidic, but we can make it less acidic. Excuse me. What you want to do is make sure that your coffee is completely organic. Make sure it's organic. I don't care about organic anything else. Even your celery, wash it if it's not organic. I really don't. If you could afford organic, of course, we all know it's better and we all know why. But for coffee, it is absolutely imperative that you buy organic coffee. Why? Because the coffee crop is the most heavily covered crop with pesticides. The most heavily. It's a very sensitive crop. So it's covered in so many chemicals. And then think about it, right? So first, it's covered with chemicals. It's harvested. It's brought to the processor. Then the processor takes it and roasts the shit out of it at really high temperatures really quick. Because the faster you can roast it, the faster you can get it out and sell it. It's rancid. It's so freaking rancid. Buy a very good low acid organic coffee. You know what I'm drinking right now? I'm drinking Dead Man's Brew. It was a gift from my father-in-law. It's not low acid. It's strong as hell, but it's not bitter. It's really not bitter, and it's all organic. It's so freaking good. It's not the best one, though, but it's so good. And he gave it to me. It's a gift, so I had to drink it. So just make sure that your coffee is organic. Make sure that you're not putting a dairy creamer in there and you're not putting toxic chemicals in there. Find a good creamer. Before I had an infant, I used to make my own creamer. That recipe is, did I put it in the files section? I think I put it in the files section. If not, I did a video on it in the group. I just can't remember if it's on YouTube or not. Sorry, I will find that out. But it's cashew cream. Just look up cashew cream. Make sure it's a good creamer, and don't ever use artificial sweeteners. And I think we all know not to use artificial sweeteners. And that's how you can have your coffee. I wouldn't have coffee, though, until after you've had everything else. Your lemon water, your celery juice, then have your coffee. Heavy metal detox smoothie, I don't care when you have it. It really doesn't matter. As long as you have it during the day, as long as you have all of the ingredients within 24 hours, you don't even have to put it in a smoothie. It's just much easier if you do. So that's the take on coffee. So in this, it's already been 45 minutes. I can't believe it's been that long. In this guide, it gives you sections on where you can brainstorm breakfast, lunch, dinner, and get some ideas here. I give you ideas for snacks. Everyone should be eating 2 apples a day. I don't always get 2 apples in a day. I do most days. I usually have one during the day, and then I'll have one at night as a snack with like some cinnamon on it. Or if I'm craving something sweet, I'll drizzle honey or agave over it. Lunch. Going gluten-free is a lot easier if you're eating close to the ground, if you're eating fruits and vegetables and chicken and meat. I don't care if you're a vegetarian or not. You don't have to be, but if you choose to be, great. My daughter is vegetarian. I'm not. I still enjoy some chicken every now and then, but she does have me hooked on tofu. And there's only one tofu that I really like. It's from Trader Joe's. Does everyone know about the sriracha tofu from Trader Joe's? It is absolutely absolutely delicious. And I never thought I would say that about tofu. Let me know in the comments if you guys like tofu, because I had it the other day from a restaurant chain, Fresh Kitchen. I got the queen quinoa, and I got it with tofu this time. Oh my God, it was awful. It was so mushy. It was like eating a wet sponge, like literally a wet sponge. So it's easier to eat gluten-free if you're eating close to the ground, if you're eating your fruits, your vegetables, your chicken, whatever. But a lot of times we need ideas like how to mix it up, because that could get really boring. In this guide, there's a ton of not recipes, but ideas on what you could put together and where you get these things, like chickpeas. That's another one of my favorite things to do, is to roast chickpeas. It's super simple. It's really quick. It doesn't take a lot of energy, and you can sit there mindlessly and eat them. They're just chickpeas. There's so much you can do with chickpeas. I add them to my salads. I always make a huge salad, so I have it for 2 days. I don't like it on day 3, but chickpeas, salads, things that are really going to fill you up, that are going to satisfy that crunch, that need for the crunch. And I don't know about you, but I like to eat. I like to sit there with a bowl of food and just eat. I don't want to have a couple bites of something and call it a meal. I want to really dig in. So there's a lot of ideas in here of what you can do that are quick and simple, don't take a lot of energy. Another thing with gluten is the snacks. Learn to look at your snacks and see what you can trade out. Dates. Dates are an awesome snack. I think many of us here already know about the Snickers dates. There's a recipe in the file section. There's also a YouTube on it. I did a video. It tastes like a Snickers bar. A date, a little bit of peanut butter, which, by the way, I don't use peanut butter anymore. I use sun butter. Much better. And I don't like sun butter over peanut butter. I don't. I like peanut butter better. But in this, with the dates, the sun butter, and then the chocolate, oh my God, absolutely delicious. And if you don't melt the chocolate and you just want to like press the chocolate chips into the peanut butter, you get the crunch too. There are so many ideas. They're all in the guide, by the way. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time because I'm already going on 45 minutes, but I wanted to make sure that I did this gluten-free video because this was the topic that got cut from the workshop. The workshop starts on Monday, and I wanted to incorporate Catherine. I wanted to incorporate Matt Rowe, because in this iteration of the program, the coaching is not just going to be from me. It's going to be from Matt Rowe. And we're also going to have clearings from Catherine Rose. So this is the workshop. This is the program, the workshop too, but this is the 4-month program where you're, for the first time, you're getting the body, the mind, and the soul all at one. There's coaching on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Mondays for the beginners, Tuesday for the people who've already been through it. And then Thursdays is going to be either Matt Rowe or we're going to have gluten-free cooking demonstrations, because we all need to see it, right? I can tell you all of these things, but until I actually show you, or until somebody shows you how to do it, you're like, oh, okay, I can do that. So I would love our cooking shows, because you get ideas and you're like, I have that. I could totally do that. That was a lot easier than it looked, right? All right. I used to eat a lot of shrimp. So there's a lot of shrimp recipes or ideas, not recipes, ideas in here, what to do with shrimp, where to buy it. I just don't eat it anymore. But shrimp is a great thing to put with pasta. What else did I say? Shrimp tacos, frozen shrimp with frozen vegetables from Costco. Couldn't be any simpler. Get a bag of frozen vegetables, get a bag of frozen shrimp, put it in a wok, add some oil in, add some spices, you're done. Maybe throw it over some rice that you got going in the rice cooker. Super simple dinner, very easy, totally gluten-free. And then you follow up for dessert with the dates that taste like Snickers bars. Okay, so, it's great? Costco. Because another good tip, again, going gluten-free, what the hell do you eat? What do you eat for dinner? For the people who are, let's say, vegetarian, because I do a lot of vegetarian in my house because of my daughter. They have these individual salmon steaks at Costco. They're individually wrapped. They're in the frozen section. You pull them out. I put them in a bowl of hot water for like 2 minutes, thaw them out a little bit. They come with their own sauce. Absolutely delicious, absolutely gluten-free. And they take 15 minutes in the oven. Very simple. Again, put with some rice. Put some with pasta. Put them with the frozen Costco vegetables. Tons of ideas in here. So that's dinner. All right, so desserts, comfort foods. When I talk to people and they say, Janine, I am not willing to give up ice cream. I'm not willing to give up ice cream either. No one should ever give up ice cream. It's delicious and it's necessary. And that's how I feel about ice cream. Just make sure it's dairy-free. And when you think dairy-free ice cream, it kind of sounds like it's going to be disgusting, but it's not. If you're new to the group, if you're new to going dairy-free and gluten-free, then there's going to be a whole bunch of brands. Utilize this group. The brand's So Delicious. Yes, it is So Delicious, but that's actually the name of the brand, So Delicious. They make a coconut-based ice cream and an almond milk-based ice cream. Absolutely better than Ben and Jerry's. You know how Ben and Jerry's leaves you feeling like really yucky and full and heavy? It's great going down, but it just leaves you feeling really crappy. This doesn't. The coconut milk, the almond milk, they even have an oat milk one. They're absolutely delicious. They're creamy and they're just like real ice cream. I'm telling you, in order to go gluten-free and dairy-free, you cannot feel deprived. You have to find the foods that you love, that you're comforted by, and that you can easily grab. That is the trick. The other trick is to not try to do everything overnight. Each week, pick something out of your refrigerator, out of your pantry that you need to replace with the gluten-free. Utilize this group. Hey guys, listen, I can't go without my XYZ. Do you have any gluten-free suggestions? I'm telling you, you're going to get a shit ton of comments on those questions. You know the wild blueberries? This is another good thing for dessert. The wild blueberries that we use for the heavy metal detox smoothie, I have been using them at night in a dairy-free plain yogurt, which is absolutely freaking disgusting. If you were to eat it plain, it's absolutely disgusting. However, add a ton of frozen blueberries to the dairy-free plain yogurt. Then add monk fruit sugar in there, add a little maple syrup, mix it all together. You want more blueberries than yogurt because it's going to freeze the yogurt and it's going to turn into like this ice cream-like consistency. And then you can either top that with granola, shredded coconut. I go all out. That is my big bowl. This is why I can't lose the baby weight, because this is what I do at night. It's absolutely delicious. It's satisfying. It's gluten-free. It's dairy-free. And when I make it for other people who are like over, I'm like, let me make you something for dessert. And I make them the bowl of that. They're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then I tell them what there is, and they're completely blown away by it. So, I think, yeah. Okay. Step 5 is pace yourself. And we've already been talking about that. Go easy on yourselves. Give yourself some grace. You are going to glutenize yourselves. You are. Everyone does. I do. It's just impossible to go completely gluten-free in this world unless you're growing all your own food and eating out of your backyard. It's almost impossible to not glutenize yourself. But what I tell people is every time I glutenized myself, I was given the opportunity to go, okay, this is my reminder. This is my timeout. I felt like God was putting me in a timeout and saying, you got to slow down. You got to think before you eat. You have to enjoy your food. And that means thinking before you eat. The Epstein-Barr virus has a 6-week life cycle. The size of a crouton or smaller is enough to feed the virus so that it proliferates, so that it causes you symptoms. You're going to be starting from square one and waiting 6, 8, 10 weeks before you start feeling better. Because remember, although it's only a 6-week lifespan, it takes a number of weeks to detox out of your body. And even that dead corpse of a virus is a neurotoxin. That's enough for the brain fog, for the tingles. You want to, and that time period to detox out of your body is different for everybody. It could be a week. It could be 4 weeks. You don't know. Nobody knows. So that's why I emphasize so much. And in my program, we spend an entire month on going gluten-free, exchanging ideas, talking to people. How did you do? What do you do? This is so important to your healing. Yes, the lemon water. Yes, the celery juice. But that gluten is really feeding that virus. And in order to heal, you have to starve the virus. You have to get it out. So that gluten, you have to make sure that every single thing that you eat, Quinn and Marissa, I have you in my mind. I feel so horrible. You work so hard and you do so much good and you spread so much great information to people. And then you accidentally glutenize yourselves. And every time my heart breaks for you because I know exactly what you're going through. I know I sound like a broken record. Anytime you put something in your mouth, please don't put it in your mouth until you read the ingredients, until you know exactly what you're putting in your mouth. Okay? All right. So That's the entire guide. I don't know. It's thick. It's got a ton of pages. It's got a lot of space for you to write down your breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner ideas. And it's in the files section of the group. You can go there, or you can go to Minding Your Soul and hit free guide, and it's right there. It will be emailed to you, whatever's easiest for you. But use it. Use it. Flip through it. If you have any questions for me, you can either ask them next week on the workshop week. I'll be live every day at 12 o'clock doing a video on the entire protocol. So Monday through Friday, I'll be live at 12 o'clock. Saturday at 12 o'clock, we're going to go into a Facebook room and we're going to do a live question and answer, talk, meet and greets, whatever you want to do. I'll be in a room. You can join me, ask me questions. Amanda said, I encouraged you to read your normal foods every once in a while to make sure the manufacturer doesn't change ingredients. Amanda, great point. Even if you're comfortable with a certain food like mustard, I still read all the time, even though I buy the same brand all the time. Manufacturers are constantly changing things, and don't get too comfortable. Always read your labels. Just, you never know when things are going to change, because Doritos, yes, regular Doritos always had gluten in them. The Cool Ranch never had gluten in them. I don't know why. It just never did. But now the regular Doritos are gluten-free. Not that I eat Doritos, but my son brings them home all the time. He's always like, want one? I'm like, I can't. Are they Cool Ranch? So if he has the Cool Ranch, I'll take one. But he was reading the nacho ones the other day. There was no gluten in them, but there's milk. So yeah, there's milk. I was like, why haven't I eaten them in a while? That's why, because there's milk in them. But manufacturers are always changing things. So Amanda, great point. Just saying for our friends. Amanda, you're great. You made great points tonight. Thank you very much. Quinn says, I'm sorry, KCUF tofu, nasty tasting sponge. What is KCUF tofu? I guess that's the name of the brand. But yeah, when tofu tastes like a sponge, I guess that's why they talk about pressing it down first, getting all the water out, and then baking it. But the stuff at Trader Joe's, you have to try it. It's sriracha tofu. Trader Joe's, it's their brand. I haven't seen it anywhere else. You could eat it right out of the package. You could cut it and eat it. It's absolutely delicious. We fry it up in some coconut oil. Oh my God, cut it into sticks. It's kind of like a better French fry, if there's such a thing. So yeah, there's so many things that you can do. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about the workshop. So listen, I just found out last week, a family friend died, and her funeral is Tuesday at 10:30. And although I think I can be back by 12 o'clock to do the live for the workshop, I don't know what state of mind I'm going to be in. So what I'm going to do is record Tuesday's session and still broadcast it at noon. And then I'll be available for questions in the comments when I come home later. I just kind of want to leave that day open. So it's the workshop still going on. I'm still going to be broadcasting or live every day at noon. Just Tuesday it's going to be a broadcast because I don't know what my energy is going to be like on Tuesday after a funeral, you know? Oh, fuck tofu. That's what he said. All right, Quinn. KCUF is fuck. Fuck tofu. Quinn, I just so thoroughly enjoy you. All right, so workshop week is Monday through Friday. Saturday, we'll be doing questions and answers or just a meet and greet. Meet me in a Facebook room. And then that following Monday will be the last day. And that's when we're going to do 3 o'clock with Catherine Rose. And she's going to explain her part in the program, what clearings are, what they do for you, and why they're so important to your healing. So again, workshop, we have all three, the mind, the body, and the soul. We're working with Matt Rowe, mindset coach. We're also working with Catherine Rose, vibrational healer. And then enrollment will open for the coaching program if you want to enter into that 4-month program. And again, you don't have to. You will have all the information that you need to start healing yourself. The group is just for people who want to do it with another group of people who want that weekly accountability. So you get me on Mondays and Tuesdays. You get Matt on Thursdays or a gluten-free cooking demo. And you also get Catherine on the 4th Thursday of every month. Excuse me. All right. It's been a solid hour. I think we covered it all. If you do have any questions, either put them in the group or put them in this thread because I still get the notifications with your questions. And today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. So I'm not going to see you guys live again. I think I'm going to do a Sunday night, but that's not definite because I want to get some stuff out of the way to tell you guys about the workshop before the workshop begins. So this way, Monday, we can hit the ground running and we talk about the real cause of your symptoms. And we all know it, like it's not, there's no suspense anymore. It's the Epstein-Barr virus. We all know that. Back when I did my first workshop, it was like, oh my God, the Epstein-Barr virus, no way. But we pretty much know it now, especially with Matt Embry putting out the videos every other day about it. So it's not news, but that's what we're going to be doing on day one. And I want to hit the ground running. So Sunday night, I might put out a video, but I'll do an event so you can see it. So don't worry. All right, guys, it's been fun. It was a quick hour. It was a very quick hour. I will see you soon. Have a great week. Have a great weekend if I don't talk to you. And hopefully I'll see you for the workshop. I love Queen Janine. Quinn, thank you so much. You don't have to register for the workshop, but because I'll be live in the group every day. So if you're not registered, don't worry. You can still see the videos. But the videos for the workshop don't stay in the group. If you are registered for the workshop and you sign up as a VIP, I will get your email address because you have to put that in. Once I have your email address, then I can email you the recording. So you'll have that forever and ever, however long you want to have it to refer back to take notes or whatever you want to do. So if you want that daily recording, then absolutely go in there. And register for the workshop so that I have your email address so that you get the daily recordings. And also, I'm going to be giving away a full scholarship to the 4-month program. So I think I'm going to do it. I'll give homework every day. Don't worry, it's something super simple that you can do. But everyone who does the homework will be entered in the drawing to win the full scholarship to the 4-month program. Completely free. And what I did last time, I'm going to change it up a little bit. What I did was everyone who did the homework every day for 4 days, I think I did it. Yeah, 4 days. If you do the homework 4 days in a row, I put your name into a hat. I'm going to do it a little differently this time because we're busy. And sometimes you can't get to the homework. And that doesn't mean you don't need the full scholarship. So if you do the homework at all, even one day, everyone who does the homework will be entered in the drawing. All right. So if you do the homework all 4 times, you're going to have 4 entries into the drawing. If you do the homework once, you'll have 1 entry, but you'll still have that entry. And then at the end of the week on Friday, I'm going to pull out the winner, announce the winner, and that person will receive, if they want it, the 4-month coaching program completely free. It's my way of giving back. All right, I'll go over all of this again. So don't worry, you'll be hearing that a few more times. All right, everyone, you have a great night, have a great weekend, and I will see you hopefully next week in the workshop. See you soon.